You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Good morning. Hope everyone is doing swell. A little bright and early, but it's quite all right.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, y'all ready to run through this show? And don't worry, we'll be off book by next week, which means study your lines this weekend.
Oh gosh.
Okay? Lights, camera, action.
Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paperboy, evening TV. You miss your old familiar friends, but waiting just around the bend. Everywhere you look, everywhere there's a heart, a hand to hold on to. Everywhere you look, everywhere there's a face of somebody who needs you.
Goodness, I've had so much on my mind lately, I'm just not quite sure what to do.
What's the matter? Are you gonna tell me? Because I'm gonna need more than just that.
Of course I'm gonna tell you, but I want to tell both you and Gwen. Just as soon as she gets here, I will. You want a cup of coffee?
Alright, and sure, yes please. I got it! Well, look who decided to show up.
You're funny.
I'm just messing around. How are you?
Just fine. And is that coffee I smell? Because I'll have some.
You hear that, Emily? She wants a cup too.
Oh, alright.
Why does she sound so upset? Was it you?
No, not me. Something's bugging her and she said she'll tell the both of us.
Coffee's all ready.
So tell us what's going on.
Alright. It's really nothing to do with me directly, but it's got me thinking. Thinking about how as injustice, contradictions, and corruptions are instilled, a community is viewed unchanged, or one feels as if it's inescapable, unable to leave despite the hatred for an unfair system and monotonous cycle of judgment.
And who would feel this way?
Well, I'd suppose the minorities, those that are constantly victimized and belittled.
But see, the thing is, even after a minority group would gain some kind of representation or answer to their plea, say an end to slavery, there's still separation, cynical people, and most especially, racial prejudice.
The reforms, if that's what you want to call them, didn't actually solve anything ultimately. Discrimination is at large, seemingly more than ever, and that is what's infecting a community, creating a sensation of being trapped, stuck, and bound into demands of the community and one's family. It's that love and dedication beneath all that disgrace and shame for the inequities that keeps a minority alive and attached.
Okay, but what's got you thinking about all this, Em? Is it a story, that legend, a fictional one, but a good one? Oh shoot, I read it somewhere. I'm sure it's the one you're talking about. It has to be A Lesson Before Dying.
Hang on, we're not gonna, well, hopefully not, die anytime soon. What do you mean?
No, not at all. That's not what I meant. It's the name of the story, right, Em?
I believe what's most important is the internal struggle to accept a difficult or initially non-logical task, to discover the power of influence, faith, and belief. Those things create connection. It's acceptance that should overcome denial.
Ain't that what the main character experienced? Why don't we all retell the story? Dissect it, figure it all out. Karen, you've had to have heard the story.
Yes, I have. I was just messing around. Yeah. But aren't you saying to value the ability to discover the power of influence, faith, and belief? Those things create connection. It's acceptance that should overcome denial.
Also part of the theme of the story.
Okay.
Okay.
This is a time of division despite the abolition of slavery and the legislation of the 14th and 15th Amendments, all in which provided African Americans with a temporary prize, quickly undermined and restricted by the Jim Crow South and the strife of discrimination. All took place in a little town in Louisiana called Bayonne, a photo collage of Frederick Douglass, Abraham Lincoln, and Booker T. Washington, might be seen or found in the pastoral home of a black family of endurance through Civil War hardships to the current state of a community with hidden but ever-present white supremacy. Religion was the glue to restoring hope and quality into the black community. A sense of worthiness and reverence. The area was split into a section of town where the whites presided in, and a parallel section where the blacks presided in. A blend of the two was permissible, but that's not to say that whites abandoned their superior behavior, for they did not. In the town of Bayonne, a bar known as the Rainbow was a location consisting of distraction, dispute, reflection, and relief from anger toward the unlawful relationship between the wealthy white former plantation owners and the freed blacks. Yes, I'm talking about you, Grant Wiggins. But who is he? Oh, you'll find out soon enough.
Alright then. Why wasn't I there? Why wasn't I standing beside him? Why wasn't my arm around him? Why? Why wasn't I back there with the children? Why wasn't I down on my knees? Why? But who is with him? Who is with you, Jefferson? Is he with you? He is the Reverend Ambrose, because Reverend Ambrose believes. Do you believe, Jefferson? Have I done anything to make you not believe? If I have, please forgive me for being a fool. For at this moment, what else is there?
This is a mystery to be solved at the end of this episode. What has happened, one may wonder. Why? Why? One thing is known for sure. The usage of rhetorical questions in a conversationally frantic tone. With these two devices, the emotiveness of Grant is evoked adequately, setting the gravity and intensity of the event. Its significance will be revealed later on.
Prosecutor, please make your claim.
Your Honor, everyone, please take a nice, good look at the man who had killed 3 white men. I wouldn't consider him a man. A fool, a hog at the most. He's an animal who deserves to be locked behind bars for the rest of life. His head is hollow with no real thought or meaning. Thank you.
Alright, these 12 white men have come to a fast and speedy verdict. Mr. Jefferson will be held accountable for the death of 3 men he has shot during his robbery, and he will be sent to death by electrocution. That is all.
This trial, much like this explanation, is a blur, a glimpse, like a flash of lightning. It is purposefully so to further emphasize the injustice that dominated the entire trial, specifically referring to whites superior to blacks. That is that, and no objections. Now, for a while, Grant Wiggins had dreaded and defiantly spoke against the idea of visiting Jefferson, to Miss Emma's, Jefferson's godmother's, request. She had pleaded to him to agree to take on the task, and pleaded to Henry Peacock, the white former plantation owner who Miss Emma and Grant's family had previously worked for, to allow the visitations to be enacted. She was desperate, yet didn't wish to be anyone's burden. She uses her past deeds and hard work toward the Peacock family to justify her deserving to have her desire. But what is this task? This desire? And Aunt Tant Lou? Grant's aunt will react how?
Now Grant, just where do you think you're going?
I'm going on with my life to Bayonne for some things for the school. But it's essential I go right now.
Oh, I don't think so. You can spare a few minutes. Come here now.
What is so important that must keep me from escaping this?
Watch it. I want respect. Miss Emma has a request. Sit down, Grant.
Oh, I can stand. I'm just fine.
Sit down and greet Miss Emma.
Hi, Miss Emma. Doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing alright. I need your help. I want change. Called him a hog. I know he was trying to get him off, but he didn't pay that no mind. So give him death. I don't want to kill no hog. I want a man to go to that chair on his own 2 feet.
Hang on.
Sit down.
I was thinking you could, well, go to teach him. You the teacher. I know you can. All I want is for him to become a man, die a man, and be made a man by you. Show him that he's more than what they labeled him as. Please consider it at least.
Yes, I'm a teacher, and I teach what the white folks need me to teach. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. They ain't ever taught me how to keep a black boy out of a liquor store.
Quit that disrespectful tone.
It's fine. I don't want to cause no trouble or to be a burden.
You will go, and you will do as I say.
Here, it is apparent that there is a dispute and disagreement between Grant and Tanty Lou. It further foreshadows the grudges and conflicting feelings Grant holds against this town and its system. Why does he feel this way? Will he hit a breaking point? Will he leave? Why hasn't he left? If he had felt an urge to get away for so long, running in place. It might just be true that Aunt Tanty Lou could never understand, no matter how loud Grant wanted to scream.
What don't you understand, child? Simple math is done in the brain. Do not count on your fingers.
Yes, sir, Mr. Wiggins.
And you've already used up all the chalk. I already have enough problems. I'm not going to go out and buy more chalk for this cheap school. And look at this. You can't even write simple sentences in a straight line. You know what? I've had it. Both of you sit down. If you don't get your act together, you're gonna end up in the electric chair. Wires will be stuck to your head and all throughout your body, and electricity will pump through your veins until you die a slow, miserable death. And anyone who can't handle that truth is welcome to leave.
This act of mistreatment on the students reflects Grant's intensifying dissension for the present circumstances in his hometown that he is reckoned to deal with, the ridiculously unfair conviction of Jefferson, for that is what propelled the events preceding. Miss Emma's plea for Grant to fulfill the task of educating Jefferson. What was he to do? Why was Aunt Tanty Lou so persistent that he continued to attempt to succeed in the task? Although, in a sense, Grant's behavior signifies the irony in his objection to injustice. It is injustice that these children were treated harshly for no clear rationale, is it not? Thus, this adds to the theme of injustice throughout the story.
What's wrong with you, Grant? Ain't you having fun?
Everything's alright. I just missed you. I don't say that I love you enough. I'm sorry.
What is going on?
Would you like to leave this town? I think we ought to pack our things, forget about Jefferson, and just start a new life.
Are you crazy? We have professions. We teach our youngest generation. We have to stay. If we're not going to stay for us, we have to stay for them.
Oh, stay and do what? Live every day just like the last? Worry over Jefferson, then come to the Rainbow Club and drink our feelings away? No, I think we ought to leave this town.
Then why don't you pack up and leave?
I'm staying here for you. You and only you.
Don't lie to me, Grant. You're staying for those darn kids. You said it yourself.
I want to leave, but we both know we can't.
The relationship between Vivian and Grant is very complex. They use their love for each other to escape from the busyness of their lives, most especially Grant, who attempts to let their love justify for an excuse to leave, run away, and abandon the chaos in their town. Ultimately, Vivian lets Grant realize the impossibility of leaving, for Grant just simply cannot, and he knows it himself. Grant often lets his emotions, build up of anger and dissension, overcome him, going as far as to being unstoppable in a fight with white men at the Rainbow. Vivian is distraught and confused. What is their relationship? Where do they stand? What does love mean? There's your reality check, Grant. Purify and cleanse your relationship and make it worth more than just a distraction. He will do so.
Grant and Miss Emma are planning a visit to Jefferson for the first time. Miss Emma makes sure that she has enough food for Jefferson. Grant does not know what he is about to get into. All he knows is he's helping out his aunt. They are both approaching the jail cell after being searched by the guards. Grant thought the search was extensive but obeyed and did everything the officer said. Little did he know that was the least of his worries.
Grant, make sure that the food stays covered. Whatever Jefferson doesn't eat, give it to the kids.
I know, Miss Emma, I got it.
Why, hello there, Jefferson. How are you? I bought some chicken, your favorite kind. I made it just for you. Grant set the chicken on the bed for Jefferson to eat.
Here you go, Jefferson. I'll leave it right here on your bed. Right here.
Okay, Jefferson. Well, if you ain't gonna talk to me, I will just leave. Come on, Grant. I'm leaving, Jefferson. I really am. Okay, fine. Bye, Jefferson.
As Grant visits the jail for the first time by himself, he realizes this was the plan all along. Miss Emma always wanted him to go alone in order to teach Jefferson how to behave. Grant also notices that when he went alone, the guards searched him even more. This didn't bother him as much as Miss Emma and his aunt tricking him, however. This time, Grant walked right next to the guard all the way to Jefferson's cell. He was nervous. He was going to be alone with him. He didn't know what to say.
Hey, Jefferson. Miss Emma couldn't make it today. She wasn't feeling well, but don't worry. She did want you to have the food. The food smells good, doesn't it, Jefferson? Do you mind if I have some?
Is my aunt okay?
Yes, Jefferson. She's just feeling a little down today. Nothing to worry about.
You got any corn? Hogs eat corn. White men think I'm a hog. They think I'm hopeless, just like an animal, a hog.
Are you trying to get me to leave? To feel sorry for you?
Since the last visit, Grant has connected to Jefferson in a way that he thought he never would. Now Grant is going to Jefferson for the last time and he doesn't know how to feel. How is he supposed to feel? This kid has led him to so much self-evaluation and now he is about to leave him forever. Grant walks in the cell and tries to act like nothing has changed, even though everything is about to.
How are you doing today, Jefferson? Feeling good?
What is it going to feel like? You think it's gonna be quick? You think it's gonna hurt?
I don't know, Jefferson. I don't know.
Should I listen to the Reverend?
Yes, you should.
Do you believe in what he's saying? In the higher power, do you believe?
Well, no, I don't. But you should give him a try.
I don't know about all that. Seems like too much to believe in, but what do I know?
Jefferson, you need to believe in something. Believing in something will help you, and it will help me too. I need to believe in something, and I believe in you.
Okay.
So what fills in the gaps of the story? I think we know.
It's an evolution and consistent display of Grant's inner struggle and obstinate demeanor. It's seen throughout the story and is easily identified through analysis, which we have done. Toward the end of the story, Grant admits to his tendencies, drawbacks, and limitations. He expresses unexpected emotion after Jefferson's execution. This serves as proof of a sentimental relationship with Jefferson.
That's right. What seems most astounding to me is how the experience shaped Grant as an individual. He underestimated the possibility of success with Jefferson to touch him and wake him up from such a negative place and to allow him to see, realize, and think as much as he could during his final months, weeks, and days left. He used his own flaws to classify Jefferson as potential to be so much more, so much better. His students could be taught to pray, to believe, and to hold on to that faith. He drew this influence from power religion had over many in the town, like Reverend Ambrose Vivian and his family.
Religion indeed played a tremendous role in how Grant distanced himself from his society. It was an underlying factor to why he felt the way he felt and what made him feel as though he was implanted into a community that remained the same. Same routines, Same phases, same events, same hierarchy, and nothing would reverse the persecution of Grant's people from the past.
He was aware of the judgment he received from having shunned his faith many years ago. It's been told that Reverend Ambrose stared at him as though he was one of the worst of sinners. Maybe he was. Backsliders were usually worse than those who had never been converted. At least that is what people tried to make one believe.
That was in response to Grant failing to educate Jefferson with religion, and a necessity that Reverend Ambrose believed to be essential for Jefferson, which then developed a jealous competitor in Reverend Ambrose against Grant.
Hadn't he addressed part of the prayer to Grant at the Christmas show? Something about asking God to go with all those there that night who did not know him and the pardon of their sins and thought they did not need him. No matter how educated a man was, he too was locked in a cold, dark cell of ignorance if he did not know God and the pardon of his sins.
Grant seems to have been occupied with his studies, slowly deprioritizing his need and connection to the church. I read somewhere that after having visited his parents the summer following his junior year at the university, he came back, pleasing his aunt, but he had been running in the same place ever since, unable to accept what used to be his life, unable to leave it.
Yes, that clearly symbolizes Grant's initial predicament. But 12 white men say black men must die, and another white man sets the date and time without consulting one black person. Justice?
Well, of course not. Now, they sentence you to death because you were at the wrong place at the wrong time with no proof that you had anything at all to do with the crime other than being there when it happened. Yet 6 months later, they come and unlock your cage and tell you, us white folks, have decided it's time for you to die because this is the convenient date and time.
And it was so that both the eyes of Jefferson and Grant were opened. Grant received and absorbed the claim that maybe, just maybe, Reverend Ambrose knew more than he did in some ways. For he saw the truth in Aunt Tanty Lou that Grant never saw, never realized, and never noticed. He knows his people. He knows what they've gone through. He knows they done cheated themselves, lied to themselves, hoping that one they all love and trust can come back and help relieve the pain. He's seen Aunt Tanty Lou tell lies that she's alright, when in fact she was not, to Grant. Seen her hands bleed from picking cotton and the blisters from the hoe and the cane knife. Seen her at the church crying on her knees. And that is what sets him apart from Grant as an educator. And with that, a beautiful transformation occurred furthermore. He revived the presence of faith in Jefferson, saying, "I think it's God that makes people care for people." Jefferson, I think it's God makes children play and people sing. I believe it's God that brings loved ones together. I believe it's God that makes trees bud and food grow out of the earth. And so, acceptance, trust, and a strong bond are exchanged between Jefferson and Grant.